Hey guys, what's up? Nine Stop here. Welcome back to another video. And today we're going to be talking about Battlefront 2, the only good live service game
to date. And it probably will be the only good live service game.
I don't know if live service, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know about live service, man.
Me neither.
What future live service games are there? Is Call of Duty becoming live service? Sort of, because with Modern Warfare, DLC updates are free and stuff.
Yeah.
So I guess that's live service, but Modern Warfare isn't really a success in terms of anything except like people are playing it because they have nothing better to do. Mm-hmm. Supposedly it's the most popular COD game, but I think it's only the most popular COD game because number one, it's free. You can't beat free with Warzone if they're counting Warzone. And
it's Battle Royale.
Yeah, Battle Royale, so people are going to download it. And everyone's stuck inside with the epidemic, and they need something to play.
And it's the most iconic franchise.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
yeah, it has Modern Warfare in the name.
Yeah, but anyway, so live service games, you may know about them. There's like Battlefield 5, Anthem, stuff like that. They promise constant future updates.
Yeah,
and like
Battlefront 2 also, but that one turned out differently.
Yeah, that one, they weren't necessarily advertised. They weren't saying it was live service, but it was. But, like Anthem, for example, they're talking about, there's going to be new constant events and stuff like that. Like, stuff is going to constantly get added and stuff. And, like,
oh, boy.
It basically gives them an excuse to not finish the game at launch.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what live service is, an excuse to not finish the game at launch.
Mm-hmm. But we're going to talk about the only good one, Battlefront 2 EA edition.
EA, yeah. So when Battlefront 2 launched, it was a total mess, and the microtransactions sucked. The game was just in a really bad state.
Yeah.
And the campaign sucked, although it still sucks, obviously. You can't fix that.
Mm-hmm. It'd be great if you could. But yeah, like, literally, the game launched with, or at least, it like, the day after it launched, or really quickly, pretty much the game launched without microtransactions just because of how much backlash there was because of that.
Yeah.
Because of, like, how much backlash they were getting and stuff. They removed them from day one, and they had the heroes locked, like certain heroes, like Darth Vader,
and everything
Luke
was just
locked.
messed up because they removed that, and the game hadn't changed really. But like they started fixing the game and really made up for their mistakes.
Yeah, like they added tons of prequel era content, which lots of people are asking for. They like Clone Wars stuff, and they fixed the leveling system. The leveling system is 10,000 times better now.
And they just kept adding content, consistently adding content, and adding good content.
Yeah.
That you wanted to play.
Yeah, like every time I came back to the game, there was like something new. Like when it was just throughout like the years of Call of Duties and stuff like that, Battlefront 2 was still there, just like having a new content
like when
update
Battlefield 5 was totally dropping the ball with live service, and Call of Duty was releasing several really bad games in a row, like COD World War II, Black Ops 4, and now Modern Warfare.
Mm-hmm. Like, yeah,
Battlefront 2 was there.
Yeah, it was still pumping out content every time. Like there would be the Republic Commando, or they would add like.
And right now the game is there's so much value for money in that game. There's tons of content in that game.
Yeah, it's really cheap right now too. It's like $7 or $5. You can easily get.
That's amazing.
Yeah, there's so much content. Every map in that game is really good. The new mode they added, Capital Supremacy, which is pretty much just Conquest, is fantastic. That's probably the single best addition they made.
Yeah.
They have all the they added all the eras and maps to that.
So many iconic maps got added.
And they're all really good. There really aren't bad maps in that game.
There's so many great maps and content pieces in that game. Whenever we're watching a bad Star Wars movie, we're always like, oh, at least I can play this in Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
And that just goes to show how much content there is. Every Star Wars movie, there's a map from it.
There's just so much content in this game. You know, they added so many reinforcements. I'm not sure if you know this, Eco, but at the very beginning of the life cycle, they only had one prequel era exclusive character.
Really?
Darth Maul.
Really?
He was the single, like, a prequel era exclusive character. Like, but then they added Obi-Wan, Anakin, General Grievous, Count Dooku, like they added so much stuff. And they added droidicas, which I think nobody was expecting. Like, they added freaking droidicas. That's just awesome. I'm so happy.
But anyway, yeah, the game totally turned around. They started responding to player and community feedback, and they started adding what people wanted into the game. And the game became what people hoped a Star Wars game would be.
Yeah, I said nowadays it's thriving right now. Even though they, by the way, a main reason kind of why we're making this is they just finally EA decided to finally pull the plug on that game because they got to work on Battlefield 6.
It's ironic because it's ironic. But anyway, Battlefield 5 had like 1 year of content, and Battlefront 2 had like 3 years, 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, 2 or 3 years.
Because it was a 2017 game.
So it had like 2 or 3 years.
Probably, yeah, like more like 2.5 years, I think.
Yeah, but they just had constant updates and stuff like that.
And I always felt like I could get on Battlefront 2 and there would always be something new there for me to play or see.
Yeah, like they would add, and then people were complaining, hey, we don't have enough weapons, so they added like 1 weapon per class. But the thing is, even though they added just like 1 weapon per class, that's like, oh, come on. You could still, like, the game isn't necessarily about the classes. It's about like the reinforcements and stuff. Like they fixed the Death Troopers. Like they added their iconic weapon.
You can play as so many iconic Star Wars troops and characters and everything in that game.
Yeah, there's like Ewoks, there's Death Troopers, there's Republic Commandos, there's Droidekas, battle droids and stuff like that, or super battle droids, and like there's just so much just stuff in this game that it's really, really hard to look at it now and say, oh, it hasn't changed at all from launch. Like, there are so many people who still are like,
yeah, they don't want to play it because of the microtransactions or EA, or because they played it at launch and it sucked. But you have to give it a chance because they saved this game.
Yeah, there's so many people who are like, oh, I'm never going to support EA. And it's like, well, you should please at least support this game.
Yeah, EA made a good game. It doesn't really matter to me, like, if they did the microtransactions or whatever, because they went back on it and they made the game good. If the game's good, you should support it.
Yeah, support what they did. Like saying, oh, I'm not going to support EA is basically saying like, oh, hey, we made a change. We're sorry, we made a change. It's like, oh, I'm not going to support that. That sends an awful message.
And EA's just as bad as any other AAA developer. If you buy Activision games but don't buy EA games because of some moral principle, that's just silly.
Yeah, that's just
They're
stupid.
both bad.
Yeah, honestly, EA is better than Activision now because like they don't really have much.
I mean, they're making good games now.
Yeah,
I mean they still have crap games,
like
but
FIFA
like FIFA and yeah. But they made Jedi Fallen Order. They published, or didn't make it, but they published it. They published Titanfall. They published Apex Legends. A lot of people like that. I don't.
It doesn't. Yeah, I don't. But the thing is, it's not really necessarily like microtransaction, like inclusive. Like you don't have to.
And it's free, so it doesn't really matter if there's microtransactions.
Yeah. So as I said, we want to support this game because A, it's really good, and B, we want to send a message to Activision, to EA saying, hey, you made a good change. It's so stupid when people in the comments are like, oh, this game has horrible microtransactions, and then you're like, no, it doesn't, and then it's like, that's true, but at the same time, there's still horrible microtransactions.
Like dude, no. Did you watch the video? Did you listen to the comment? Did you read? Do you know anything about it?
Do you know? No, it doesn't have any microtransactions anymore. There's so many, and there's also tons of appearances that people wanted. Like when the game came out, there were no clone, or there was like 2 or 3 clone appearances. Now there's like 500. It's
and the
insane.
Developers are amazing with putting in and doing actually what the community wants.
And they're actually
didn't the community ask for the clone commando or something, and that's why it was in the game, and that's one of the most fun reinforcements. You can play.
Like the community manager, Ben Walk, he was great. He was like one of the sole reasons why we got the Republic Commandos, because they relayed to him, and he was a fan of the Republic Commandos, that he was like, okay, we need to add them, and so they added them.
Yeah,
which is really, really cool. And they're also really in touch with like some of the like the memes and stuff like that. Like they added hello there as an emote and stuff. They have tons of really great funny emotes.
An age where the developers seem like they have nothing to do with the community, like COD, Modern Warfare. The developers don't make any of the changes the community asks for. They don't respond to feedback. They don't even include proper information in their like patch updates or whatever. In the details for their updates.
Yeah.
And the attachments, they don't even do what they say. Like, that game's a mess. But anyway, those developers are so out of touch with their community. But in Battlefront 2, the developers are super in touch with their community.
Yeah.
They understand what the community wants and how to deliver it.
Yeah, they understand that. They have like jokes with the community, and they have like literally they had like a code system for like if something was coming. Like for example, if like they were like, oh, I want to know when this new hero's gonna come, and then when someone's like, oh, I think it's gonna be in a month or two, and then they replied with a dot. That means that they're on the dot. They're right. It's coming in a month or two. Like they're so in touch with the community. Now, I'm not sure if you know this, Nico, but like being in touch with your community is so foreign that when I played Red Dead Redemption 2, I was astonished to know that the owner of the company wrote the game.
Really?
Yes, he wrote the game. I was so astonished because I'm like, that never happens. Like imagine an Activision
like
CEO.
he was a programmer.
No, he was a programmer. He just wrote the script for the game.
Oh, wrote the script.
He wrote the script and stuff. Like, imagine Activision CEO writing a script for the Modern Warfare campaign. Like, it's just so out of touch that it just boggles my mind. But no, these developers are in touch with their community, and they made the right stuff. They made the right choices.
Yeah. They did what the community wanted. Well, to conclude this video, we'll just say you should definitely check out the game and buy it if you want, because it's really cheap and it's definitely worth it. There's tons of content. There's still an active player base. The community is still there for that game.
There's tons of mods. Like, the modding community is insane.
On PC.
Yeah, on PC.
But yeah, as we said, like this game is the example of how to do a live service correctly, and really the only one I can think of. Otherwise, live service has been an almost complete failure.
Anthem is
Anthem,
they're pretty much
Battlefield
remaking
5,
the game.
COD. I guess is Fortnite live service.
I guess it was
be considered
it spurred
not a failure.
Yeah, it was the thing that like spurred the constant updates trend. But other than that, this is pretty much the only game that we think actually delivered on that promise.
Yeah. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you like this video and want to hear more like it, we make lots of videos about Star Wars and gaming. Please consider subscribing to this channel. Bye.